Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. How about this Tennessee defense? The total lack of respect all week long. The national media, all the talking heads, the focus was on Texas A&M, their defensive line, their front seven, what they were going to do to Tennessee. There was no respect for the Tennessee defense. There was no respect for the Tennessee ground game, which was leading the SEC in rushing yards per game going into that football game yesterday afternoon in an electric Neyland Stadium. Checker, Neyland, I dare Gary Danielson to call out this fan base again because we showed up, we showed out, we made an impact in this football game, but I love the dominant performance by this defensive line, by this defensive unit, went out, put this football team on their back and won against the Texas A&M team, and now the entire rest of the way, everything is in our hands. Tennessee just needs to go out and just win, baby. You know the old saying, we've been laughing and joking about it, go 1-0 every single week and things will take care of itself and you'll find yourself in Atlanta. Can Tennessee do that? We got a big one coming up. Hey, it's Buck Fama week. We got to get ready to go on the road and play an Alabama team that's very beatable. But there's a lot of things you got to clean up, a lot of things you got to fix. On the offensive side of the ball, particularly with the passing game, you want to blame Joe Milton. You want to blame the wide receivers. You want to blame the play calling. You can blame whoever you want to blame. You got to clean it up. You got to fix it, and you got to get ready to go play a tough football game on Saturday. But I want to take a listen to what Josh Heupel had to say immediately following the game, how fitting it was that this Tennessee went out and played in a dominant fashion on the defensive side of the ball when you're honoring a Tennessee legend in Eric Berry. Let's take a listen.
Fitting on a day that Eric Berry is recognized for going into the Hall of Fame, that we have the type of defensive performance that we did, honoring one of the best that's ever come through here and really one of the best that's ever played the game. So
awesome seeing Eric Berry down there celebrating the win with the players on this football team. Look, we've had a day to sleep on it, a night to sleep on it, put our thoughts together, get the emotions out of it, although I'm still riding a high. Feeling pretty good about this W, sitting at 5-1. That's the beautiful thing we talked about last night on the postgame show. Hey, we got a lot to criticize and worry about, but Tennessee's sitting at 5-1, and that is a beautiful thing. We're going to get into it, but as always, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up just below this video. It is quick, free, and easy, and it does help the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't talk at you here. We talk with you. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe, click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. We're going to be live tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. That's a fan call-in show. That's where all the members of this channel get an opportunity to come on here, voice your opinions about what you saw last night. If you agree, disagree, we're going to come on. We're going to talk about it. It's always a good time on Sunday nights, so make sure you join us for that. But let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's talk about this win, 20-13, Tennessee over Texas A&M. And again, it all starts on the defensive side of the ball, right? The disrespect. Nobody's talking about this Tennessee defense that was leading the country in sacks per game. Everybody wanted to spin the narrative because Texas A&M had more actual sacks because they had a whole extra game under their belt. Doesn't matter. This defensive line went out and proved themselves. James Pierce, Tyler Barron, both credited with a sack. I thought Karot Garland played well. And look, your defensive line's out there playing without Omar Norman-Lott. But the beautiful thing about the way that Rodney Garner is building this defensive line, you got a lot of depth. You play a lot of guys. It's plug and play, and you go on. And again, something we talked about last night is there's a lot of young talent on this defense across the board in the secondary, the linebacker position, on the defensive line, and you're continuing to recruit well on that side of the ball. Are we seeing the beginnings of an elite defense at Tennessee? Because, the way they were able to stop Texas A&M's rushing attack, 54 yards on the ground. They averaged 1.9 yards per carry in a football game where everybody was talking about that's what Texas A&M was going to do to Tennessee. Now, we'll get into Tennessee's rushing attack coming up in just a moment, but, they were able to stop the running game. They were after Max Johnson all day long. He threw for 223 yards, but they impacted him. He was 16 of 34. He had 2 interceptions. Nice to see Kamal Hadden get the interception late in the game to seal it and get the win. But this defensive unit just went out and played good football all night long. We got to clean some things up in the secondary, but the beautiful thing is when you play aggressive, you're going to give up some plays, and that's okay. But I like that Tim Banks came out, played aggressive yesterday against Texas A&M, and I hope that that's the way they continue to play on the defensive side of the ball. And look, it was all three phases, and one unit that doesn't get mentioned enough is that special teams unit. We've been waiting on D. Williams to get one to the house, and I thought the storyline coming out of the game, it was going to be missed opportunities. It felt like Tennessee missed so many opportunities early in the game. Second drive, 10 plays, 57 yards. You got a 4th and 2 from the Texas A&M 18. Joe Milton rolls out, holds on to the football. 4th drive, 9 plays, 42 yards. Charles Campbell ends up missing a field goal. 5th drive, this was right before halftime. You're moving the ball well. Jalen Wright comes out back-to-back 15-yarders, and you get hit with 2 holding calls that kind of back you out. The drive stalls out. So many missed opportunities early in this game, and you're needing something, right? You're grasping for something. Special teams unit, midway through the third quarter, you're trailing 10-7. You need a spark. You're struggling. All those missed opportunities we just talked about. You're struggling to get the ball in the end zone. Jackson Ross starts it off, pins Texas A&M inside the 1-yard line. Then this Tennessee defense goes out and takes care of business. They force a 3-and-out, and D. Williams is set up in perfect position to go make an impact in the football game, and that's exactly what he does. House call, goes and scores. Tennessee takes the lead 14-13, and they never look back from there. They did have some opportunities to put it away and never did really get that opportunity to do that. They didn't capitalize on those opportunities to put the game away, and that's something we're going to talk about here in just a second. But how about this rushing attack? Right, I mentioned there earlier where Jalen Wright pops in the game and rattles off back-to-back 15-yarders, and a big part of that is because you're able to rotate guys, because we do have a three-headed monster. Jalen Wright, Jabari Small, and Dylan Sampson. Jabari Small ended up with 12 carries for 42 yards, but he was in there. Dylan Sampson was in there. They were getting a lot of carries. This football team ended up rushing the football 49 times for 232 yards, averaged 4.7 yards a carry against what everybody's calling the greatest running defense in college football. Tennessee proved that they can run the football. Jalen Wright, trending towards a 1,000-yard season, had 19 carries, 136 yards, averaged 7.2 yards per carry last night. We've got a weapon in that three-headed monster. Tennessee played defense. Tennessee ran the football well. Something they've got to clean up is those penalties. You can't go on the road, and especially when you're having to lean on that running game. You're having to rely on that running game because the passing attack is not going anywhere. You cannot give up those holding penalties. 12 penalties for 115 yards. You got to clean that up moving forward. And then obviously, the obvious elephant in the room is the passing attack, right? The passing attack, Joe Milton. You get down there in the fourth quarter, you got a chance to pull away. It's 14-13. You're thinking, all right, if we score here, the way this defense is playing, you go up 21-13. You're feeling pretty good about your chances in this football game. And then you go down there in the red zone, and Joe throws the interception. Here's a quote from Josh Heupel about that interception. It says, the decision in the red zone, just can't make that one. That was a critical error by Joe. Sometimes that happens at quarterback. Don't want it to happen anymore. A little bit of it is what's going on in the back end is just with the wide receivers and some scheme, all of us being on the same page. Always takes ownership. Josh Heupel always takes ownership. Says there's some efficiency there from Milton that's really good. Obviously not consistent enough from all of us across the board, and that's from me to Joe to the wideouts to the tight ends to the offensive line. It's all got to be a piece of it. Look, Joe's not been very good this year, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. And that doesn't mean I don't want Joe to succeed. I want Joe to have all the success in the world. We're waiting for it. Some of the things that bother me, I know the inconsistencies, the inaccuracies. I thought he struggled with the deep ball last night. Felt like he's been putting a little bit of air under it the last few weeks, giving his wide receivers opportunities to go make plays. But the lack of effort and the lack of situational awareness, and that's been a concern going back to fall camp when Josh Heupel's talking about situational awareness, and we're going, hey, we got a 6-year quarterback. This is not what we should be seeing from a 6-year quarterback. We've got the broadcast team saying that he's making sophomore mistakes. You can't do that as a 6-year senior, but something that I can't forgive is effort, right? In the first drive, the free play. On 3rd and 8, why do you not throw that ball down the field? That's situational awareness. You got a free play. Throw it up. See what happens. Joe elects to run the football. Okay, now it's about effort. You get right to the sticks, and you don't put forth the effort to hit somebody. You just step out of bounds. That's inexcusable. Go pick up the first down. Second drive, same thing. 4th and 2 that Tennessee goes for it on the A&M 18. They decide to roll Joe out of the pocket to the right. He waits forever. He doesn't want to go get hit. And then he throws the ball out of bounds at the last second. That's inexcusable, especially when in the second half you came out and you ran the football the way I want you to run the football. We get that Joe Milton in the running game. That's going to make this rushing attack even better. He ran physical. He ran with purpose. He wasn't afraid to hit people. And I get it. You don't want your quarterback to get hurt, but show me a little effort. Show me a little want to. On the flip side of that, just in the passing game in general, just inconsistency, right? And Joe last night, if you want to argue with me that Joe played good football last night, I'm here for it. He went 11 of 22 for 100 yards, 1 touchdown, and then he had the interception in the end zone. We said it on the postgame show. Tennessee won last night in spite of Joe. In spite of Joe. That's just what it is. You get better quarterback play, this team could be really good. And I know Joe's got it in him. And I would love nothing more than Joe to find that when we go on the road to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama on Saturday. That would be the perfect timing. But we're halfway through the season, and we're still waiting. We're still waiting on that Orange Bowl Joe to show up. You don't have to be a world beater. You don't have to throw for 300. You don't have to set records and try to win a Heisman Trophy. But you got to be better than 11 of 22 for 100 yards and a touchdown and an interception. That's not going to get it done. But this Tennessee team somehow found a way last night. Dominant performance on defense. Dominant performance running the football. What a sloppy defensive SEC type of football game. Can they do that this week against Alabama? You guys know what to do. Jump to the comment section. Let's talk about it. As always, smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the merchandise. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Appreciate you guys that all pick up the merchandise. Also, I want to give a shout out to all the members of the channel. All you in the comments, in the chat that got the Power T beside your name. You are supporting what we are trying to build on this channel. You want to be a part of that, hit the join button down below. You can give as little as $1. Some people give more. You want access to the fan call-in show? That's the way you do it. Hit that join button, and you can come on tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and talk a little Tennessee football. And the beautiful thing of this community, last night, post-game show, yeah, it looked a little different because some people have stuff going on. So, look, we plug and play. We plug and play. Some of the guys that came on last night, Coach Jay, obviously a huge asset of this channel, but he came on through the fan call-in show. That's where I got to know him. Matt Begley, same thing. He's been coming on the fan call-in shows for quite some time. Asked him last night if he wanted to come on and do the post-game show. Jumped right on with us. Dustin's done the last couple of post-games. We got a great community here, and it's all being built through that fan call-in show. So if you want to be a part of it, hit the join button, and we hope to see you tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But that's going to do it for this one. Jump into the comment section. Let's talk about this win over Texas A&M and think about the future because it is Buck Fama week. But this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.